Have you ever looked at a LEGO minifigure and thought, meh, could be better? Me too. So today I'm going to fix some Marvel minifigures with different accessories and pieces to make them look better than the original, and even make a few from scratch along the way. So let's upgrade some minifigs. The first character we're going to upgrade is this Nebula minifigure. She came with some sword pieces for accessories, but we're going to swap those out. Instead, I'm going to give her this sci-fi looking alien blaster, as well as this yarrow root for her to eat from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Although she's probably not going to like it.
It's not right.
So if you haven't already seen some of my other Marvel videos where I add a bunch of different characters to my Marvel City here, this is what my display looks like here. I have a bunch of my Mario and Animal Crossing other video game stuff underneath, but basically all the Marvel stuff is up top here. I even have some of my Marvel collectibles up top there too, along with my Spider-Man art pieces up there too. But we're going to focus on this area right here for today. So even though we have this giant battle going on, and we even have some of her friends like Mantis and Groot over here putting some work in, she's just going to be sitting up top here eating her root. Next up, Nebula's sister Gamora is also going to get a couple accessories. The first being the switchblade that Thanos gives her from Avengers Infinity War. I used a red lightsaber piece as well as a couple silver horn pieces to make the switchblade. I also gave her this silver metallic Technic Ball piece to represent the orb from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Now for placing Gamora, I actually am going to replace where I had Black Widow over here. I had her kicking this Chitauri guy off of his chariot here with Loki, and I have Star-Lord flying over here. So I think putting Gamora right here would be pretty fitting. So now for our Guardians characters in my Marvel City here, we've got Rocket down here with Bucky's arm, of course. Then a little bit higher up here, we've got Star-Lord flying over with his mixtape. We've got Gamora kicking this Chitauri off of the chariot here. And then over here, we've also got Mantis trying to mind control Thanos. We've got Groot taking on some Chitauri, and then Nebula sitting up top. Next, we're going to upgrade the Watcher. There's nothing I need to upgrade about the minifigure itself, but I am going to give him some accessories. And I might have taken his name pretty literally when I came up with the accessories for him. Since he is the Watcher after all, I gave him some binoculars so that he can watch over the battle that's going on inside my LEGO Marvel City. But of course, if he's going to watch something, he's going to need some snacks too. So since I want to have the Watcher watching over the battle, I actually connected his little chair that he's going to be watching from to this adhesive patch, which I wish LEGO still made these. They're very useful, especially for my purposes here. So I'm actually just going to put the adhesive patch up in the corner of the bookcase. So now from the corner of my Marvel display here, you can see the Watcher is looking over the battle up from his little hidey hole in the corner there with his popcorn. Now let's take a look at the Submariner, otherwise known as Namor. I do like the base printing that they used on his legs here for the feathers on his feet, but we're going to make it a little bit better. But before I make my own feathers on his feet, we're going to have to erase the old print. Printed legs? Never heard of her. Now just to erase the other side too. Like it never happened. Next I'm going to utilize a technique that I used in a previous video to make the Legend of Zelda Pegasus boots. By using these gold 1x1 clips to represent Namor's sandals, along with these white flame pieces, it looks just like the feathers that he has on the sides of his feet. I made this golden spear based on the one that he uses in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. By using a couple gold pieces, a 1x1 green stud, and this translucent blue spear tip at the top, I think it looks pretty close to the one in the movies. Now, originally I had my Okoye minifigure over here helping out Black Panther fight the Outriders, but I moved her over to here to fight Namor in kind of the alleyway between the Sanctum and the Avengers Tower. So I have him on this translucent clear peg piece kind of floating up in the air with his winged feet, and then I have her on top of this tree here going at each other with their spears. Not that this next character would have any relation to Namor at all, but it's the Invisible Woman. I started by using this translucent clear colored leg piece. Then added on top of that is a translucent clear torso as well. And of course in addition to that, we're going to add a translucent clear head and translucent clear hair as well. And as you can see, those pieces work really well for an Invisible Woman minifigure. So let's go put her in the Marvel City. So originally my plan for my Invisible Woman minifigure was to put her somewhere here by my custom Johnny Storm and my custom Silver Surfer. If you haven't seen my videos on how to make those, I'll put it up above and below here. So I think instead I'm going to actually place her up by my Doctor Doom custom minifigure, which I also have a video on that one, which I can link above and below as well. But I think for now we're going to place our Invisible Woman minifigure right on this radar dish here, just so it kind of looks like she's shooting some invisible blasts up at our Doctor Doom. Up next is a bit of a 2-for-1 deal. I want to take Vision and make a battle scene where he's fighting the other Vision. For starters, I'm going to take orange and blue laser pieces, and then connect them to these orange and blue energy blast pieces. Then I connected them together in the middle with this clear bar piece to make it look like each of the laser beams are clashing into each other. So now I just need to set up both of the Vision minifigures in my Marvel City to make it look like they're attacking each other with their laser beams. Here's what I came up with for my two Vision minifigures here to display them. I have my regular Vision up against the wall of the bookcase with an adhesive patch, kind of coming in handy the same way the one for the Watcher did. And then my white Vision is kind of connected to a translucent clear bar on top of the sanctum there. And same with the actual lasers, that's how those are connected there as well. But I think it looks pretty good. It gives the effect that they're both floating, which is exactly what I wanted. So I really like how it turned out with the two lasers clashing here. It looks really good. Next up we have Sam Wilson, our new Captain America. And normally you would think that his wings, his Red Wing drone, and his shield would all be enough to make the perfect Captain America minifigure. But I'm about to do something for this man that he could never do himself. If you didn't already know, the actor who plays Captain America, Anthony Mackie, pushed for a love story with Black Widow in the movies several times. I don't blame you, King. And of course, it never happened. Until today. Here on the Red Suit Studs YouTube channel, we make dreams come true. Oop, sorry, don't know what that's doing there. So we're gonna have Captain America flying through our Marvel City with Black Widow hanging on for a joyride. So you can see a technique I've been using a lot here between my Daily Bugle and Avengers Tower display is that I put these Lego pins inside the holes where the brackets for the shelves actually go. They fit in there perfectly. They're the same width of the hole, so they fit in perfectly, and then I can put this stand in there too to connect something else to it. And you can see you can even hold something as big as Valkyrie and her Pegasus on there too. So we're actually going to do that with Captain America as well. And like I said, we make dreams come true on this channel, so Anthony Mackie, this one's for you. Up next is our first X-Men character, Beast. His minifigure usually comes with this yellow coffee cup with the X-Men logo on it, but I also want to give him a couple other things as well. I think it's fitting that we give him a couple beakers and bottles of different chemicals since he is a scientist after all. We can also give him a Lego laptop piece since he'll be working on the computer as a scientist. Since Beast is very often shown hanging by his feet, upside down, we're going to have him connected to the Daily Bugle logo over here. And of course, since he's hanging upside down, I did flip his coffee mug and his little chemical bottle here upside down as well, just for some attention to detail, because we don't want those spilling out. Up next we have another X-Men character with Mystique. However, there is no official Mystique Lego minifigure, so we're going to have to make it ourselves. To start with Mystique, we're going to use this white waist piece along with some dark azure legs. And then we're going to connect this white tuxedo tailcloth piece, but we're going to need to modify it a little bit. I had to cut part of this cloth waist piece so that I could put it on a little bit differently than how it usually goes on. Normally you would attach this piece in the middle two holes on the back of the minifigure, but I've done it a little bit differently here so it looks more like Mystique. Then for her torso, I added this Princess Leia piece along with some dark azure arms with white on the wrists. Next I added this dark azure head from a different comic book character, Killer Frost. Then we can top it off with some orange hair as well. Then finally for some accessories, I gave her a couple guns just like she uses in the comics and the TV shows. So you can see we got a couple of our X-Men characters here with Deadpool and Wolverine. And you can see here that Wolverine cut off Deadpool's leg because he's probably angry at him for something, and he's driving off on his moped to go fight Sandman over here. But he's also leaving a trail of weapons here, so I can link how I built all this and put it together above and below as well. And since we have a couple of our X-Men characters right here, I'm actually going to add Mystique right over here and have her climb up the fire escape here. I did have to remove one of her guns so that she was able to actually grab onto the fire escape, so I opted to keep the big rifle for her. But she's going to be climbing up the fire escape here, just a little bit away from where Daredevil is swinging across the two buildings here. For our last X-Men character today, I'm going to make Nightcrawler. I'm going to use these black legs with white boot patterns on the bottom. Then I'm going to add a waist accessory piece being this blue tail. Then we can add on a torso from a different comic book character, Nightwing. Then I added some red shoulder armor, a dark azure head from a LEGO Dreams set, and then some spiky black hair. And for accessories, we're going to give him his dual-wielding swords. So over in the back here where I have Hulk lifting up the taxi to throw it at Sandman, I have Nightcrawler jumping off the top to go after Mystique on the fire escape here. So we kind of have a bunch of our X-Men characters right down over here, also Beast up there, but we kind of have a lot of them on the right side of the Daily Bugle here, and I really like this setup here of having Nightcrawler chase after Mystique. The first of 6 different Spider-Man characters that we're going to work with today is the Spot. And for his accessories, what else better to give him than a couple spots? I used a 3x3 and 2x2 black tile connected to some minifigure accessory holders for these. But I think we can do even better. And we're actually going to split our Spot minifigure in two for this next part. I came up with this rather convoluted amalgamation of circular pieces to make up a portal for Spot to jump through. I even used a couple of the Mickey head pieces to get some of those circular shapes on the corner, which is some nice piece usage if I say so myself. But I'm sure now you can see why we needed to split up our Spot minifigure. By sticking his torso on the bigger circular piece here and his legs on the smaller one, it looks like he's jumping through a bunch of different portals all at once. I really wanted to translate the art style of the Spider-Verse movies with this build here, and I think I did a pretty good job. But of course, since the Spot is Miles' worst enemy, I had to add him in there as well. So here's to making a convoluted build even more convoluted. I added another spot down here for Miles' body to be coming out of, and then up top is his head with a spider sense going off as well. This is definitely the most complicated and ridiculous build I've ever done for my Marvel City, but I love how it turned out. So for a large amalgamation of random pieces that is as big and convoluted as this, it's going to be tough to actually just connect onto one of the translucent clear minifigure holders. So what I did was I used another adhesive patch here, and then I kind of put some translucent clear bricks on there to kind of jut it out from the wall at an angle. That way, when you look at it from either the side or even from the front, it has a little bit more depth to it, like it's kind of in the middle of the space here, not really up against the wall. Because obviously it's a portal, it's a spot, so it's going to be out in the middle of nowhere. It's not really going to be up against a wall perfectly. So I kind of wanted a little bit more depth to it. And I think this gets that across pretty well. And I really love how this one turned out. I genuinely think I could display this at like a convention just because of how good this thing turned out. So this is probably my favorite thing that has been added to the Marvel City so far. Our next Spider-Verse character to upgrade is Gwen Stacy. However, she's only going to require a couple cosmetic changes compared to the giant build that we did for Miles and Spot. The first is adding just a couple 1x1 medium azure plates to the bottom of her legs. That way we can represent her ballerina slippers that she wears. Then we can use our handy pliers on this LEGO handcuffs piece. And then we can put that single handcuff on her wrist to represent her web watch. I think for Gwen, I'm going to want her kind of jumping in to try and save Miles here or help him out. So I think we're going to actually utilize this adhesive patch that I'm using partially for Storm here, but there's still some studs left that we can use it for Gwen as well. So I added a web for Gwen to swing off of with the corner of this adhesive patch here, and she's actually kind of a little bit further out than some of the other characters in the bookcase here. So there's quite a bit of depth to her jumping out here. So I really like how alive the scene feels here, and it looks like she's jumping in to save Miles over here in the corner. By using 6 2x2 hinge plates along with some 2x2 modified plates and 2x2 tiles, you can put them all together to make the perfect Spider-Verse portal. And what better character is there to make a cameo in our Marvel City through this Spider-Verse portal than, of course, Dinosaur Spider-Man. I am dead serious when I tell you I bought that 4+ Spider-Man dinosaur Lego set just for this character alone. And he's perfect. So for our Dinosaur Spider-Man coming out of the portal here, I have him in the corner just attached with a pin in the holes of the bookcase, like a lot of the other figures. So hopefully it's not too heavy of a build that it falls off and breaks and everything, but I mean, it can support quite a bit of weight, even with just one pin. So hopefully this will be a good spot for him. I like how he kind of fills the space in between Morbius up here and Daredevil down there. So it looks pretty good. Now it's time to talk about the man in charge of the Spider-Verse, Miguel O'Hara, otherwise known as Spider-Man 2099. There's a few cosmetic changes that we can add to this minifigure to make it just that much cooler. For starters, I swapped out the non-printed dark blue legs for these ones here. This scaled armor leg piece looks a lot like the comic book illustration dots that you can see on his chest. And that art style was used a lot in the Spider-Verse movies, so I think this leg piece fits pretty well. Then by doing some research on Bricklink, I found this really cool red cape with a spider logo on it from some older LEGO sets. Then I added these dark blue minifigure accessory holders with some red tooth pieces to look like the spikes on his arms. I also used the other half of the handcuffs piece that I used for Gwen's web watch and gave Spider-Man 2099 a web watch as well. And Dinosaur Spider-Man isn't the only one who's going to get a Spider-Verse portal. So not only do we have our Dinosaur Spider-Man on the right side of the Daily Bugle with his Spider-Verse portal, but we're also going to have Spider-Man 2099 on the left side with his. I really like how these two look being on each side of the Daily Bugle. It honestly makes me want to add another one kind of down in this corner over here, or down over here, or maybe even up in the top there behind Storm. I don't know. It makes me want to add more and get more Spider-Verse variants, so maybe that'll be the next thing I add to my Marvel City is a bunch of different Spider-Man with more portals. But I'm also just now realizing that we have our Dinosaur Spider-Man there, we have Spider-Man 2099 there, we got Gwen up here, We also have Miles over here, but I almost forgot that I had my Spider Ham up top here with an adhesive patch with a pig. So all the Spider-Verse characters are kind of all together up top here, and then we have the other couple ones throughout the build. So I completely forgot about that guy up there, but kind of funny that he's been there the whole time. Next we have a non-Spider-Verse related Spider-Man character here with Hobgoblin. And normally he would get a pumpkin bomb, of course, but we can do a little bit better than that. I came up with this custom design for Hobgoblin's glider out of some gray pieces and some purple pieces for accents. I also added some fire for the jet booster in the back, and in the front I added some blaster bolts. So let's get this guy flying over our city. I really enjoyed how the Gwen minifigure kind of popped out from the bookcase and gave it a little bit more depth, so we're going to try and do the same thing with the Hobgoblin minifigure here. I have the glider attached to the long translucent clear bar here, but then I also attached it to a hinge plate here and a 1x6 plate, because what I'm going to try to do is I'm actually going to utilize two different holes in the bookcase here, because normally I would just use one to pin something in, but by using two I should be able to connect this whole plate here, and then it keeps the glider just a little bit more stable. Because if I tried to put it in with just one single pin, it probably would have either fallen or been too heavy or turned around, fallen upside down, something like that. So this way it kind of has a little bit more brace on the bookcase here, and I can put it at an angle that I want too. So it also gets that same kind of depth that I was going for, kind of coming out of the bookcase here. So I really like how the Daily Bugle side turned out here. So let me know in the comments which minifigure that I upgraded or build that I made from scratch was your favorite today. I'm kind of impartial to the Spider-Verse Spot build from today, but I am a little biased. But as always, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.